Nigeria has problems that are more significant than she ever has, and very exacerbated by the fact that we were not the 60 or 70 million perhaps around the time of the first Civil War. We're now allegedly, I don't believe those numbers personally, 200 million. I don't think that we've ever had a bona fide census in Nigeria. And that was also the complicity of the parents, the foreign parents of Nigeria. And many of these issues need to be dealt with unless the truth is unveiled concerning our foundational years, our amalgamation, our independence, our first constitutions. We will not get it right in Nigeria. We will not get it right in Nigeria. You must continue to join me and pray and preach as to what the next president of Nigeria should look like. And the first thing is that we don't care what part of the country that person comes from. We care more about competence, capacity, vision, understanding how to lead a nation and build a country after so much debilitation. Secondly, apart from not caring what part of the country the next president comes from, the next president must be given to development and must have proven in his or her track record, public sector or private sector, that they can deliver and have delivered development. Nigeria needs to develop. Our roads, our healthcare, education. And that's why we have so much incompetence in leadership today, because of the lack of education. So most times, much of our hope for great leadership is returnees. Nigeria has spent $2 billion every 2 years educating her children for the last 50, 60 years in the Western Hemisphere. But we've lost the majority of them to building other nations when they could be Nehemiahs and Ezras building Nigeria. So we need somebody who understands development. Number three, we need a president who is not a genderist. In other words, we must embrace both genders. And you have genderists on both sides of the genders. We want people who are not genderists. Yeah. A family needs mother and father. A nation needs men and women to parent the next generations. I'm going to ask you to remain standing. We also do not need a tribalist, sectionist, or ethnicist. That must not happen. And the constitutions must provide to exclude those sort of people from high executive office in all three tiers, all three arms of government. We also do not want a religionist, which is part of why I might not be considered. And I'm not looking for the job of president. I do not seek any elected office nor appointed office. I'm very happy operating in my calling, and I'm slightly outside of it because of where the country is. We also need somebody who has brilliance, is well educated, and hasn't left his or her education in the theoretic realm, so that practically they can deliver on vision, embrace even their opponents. The beautiful thing about Abraham Lincoln, he put all his opponents, he didn't define them as enemies, though some of them were, he put all of them at the table, because he recognized that they had brilliant enough ideas to rise as the cream to the top of the polity and the politics of the day. And by this, he was able to embrace ideas, amalgamate them or collaborate them into one singular vision to give Americans the opportunity, being all created equal, to pursue and aspire to a life of justice, freedom, peace, development, progress, and happiness. So we need somebody like that. That's not all. We also need somebody who can amass around himself, across the reach of governance and government, particularly in his or her cabinet, people who are like him or her in competence, capacity, brilliance, and vision. so that every significant and peripheral ministry of state does well collaboratively to deliver on our national vision. And by God, we need a visionary who sees, lives, and breathes a better Nigeria, better than any other country on the face of this earth. It's possible. We have the brilliance. We have so many great Nigerians. And we have to find a way, my friends, to lock out the people who only go into politics and governance for personal gain and aggrandizement, for the allure of power and money. The purpose of power and money are not for aggrandizement. They are for the delivery of service. Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, by the people. And we're sick and tired, forgive my rudeness, of these idiots who cannot see beyond their noses. If you're not good enough for the job, leave it. Too many people are suffering, living beneath their privilege, living beneath our opportunity as an aggregated whole. And for goodness sake, it is time that if we call ourselves a federal republic, one, we must be Republican, and two, we must be federating. This is not a federal republic. I see nothing Republican about Nigeria, and there's nothing federating about Nigeria. This is a situation where the center determines everything, and the center feeds the components. In a federation, the components feed the center. And the center is only responsible for national matters like border integrity, national defense. And when you don't have that, you impede the growth of the various components of the federation. That's why some states are just downright lazy. And by my last estimates, I'm not an accountant, I think there are at best 3 viable states that have some measure of self-sufficiency. So when Lagos delivers 5.3 trillion naira in royalties, customs, ports, taxes, and duties, and VAT and the likes, it goes to the center, and the center appropriates it to lazy states. Lazy states with leaders who have no vision except grab power, grab land, and take what isn't yours, whilst you're standing on top of gold all over the country, bauxite, tantalite, all kinds of minerals. We don't lack the resources, and we have resourceful people. Nigeria can be great, and it would be such a travesty and tragedy if our time comes and goes and we don't lay the foundation for a great nation. If I catch any one of you in government and you don't deliver service or you become a thief there, I will give you problems, and I will ask God to give your generations problems. I'm speaking to those of you in House on the Rock. Otherwise, go into business and make money there. Leave government for service delivery. You're ruining millions of lives. We wouldn't have beggars on the street if government would do her business. And I'm not speaking of this administration. I'm speaking of all administrations. And I include the British administrations that govern Nigeria.
Oh Lord of hosts, thank you. So guys, you heard what the man of God has to say, and honestly, I will say that I wish God can just change the heart of politicians to fit in the exact description this man of God is actually giving, because it's the opposite. Honestly, if we want to be honest with ourselves, you see that what he's talking is the opposite of what they are doing. I remember I said something in my previous videos that all our politicians are good for is to go to international funds to take loans, money, and say that Nigeria does not have the resources, they do not have the capacity to actually do things on their own, which mineral resources are being discovered on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, and these mineral resources end up in people's accounts, getting their account fat, investing in other countries' economic, making it one of the best with our resources, with our money. You take it abroad and all that. There's something I used to say that if you are in Nigeria, try. If you can't go through newspaper or sit in your house and watch news because there is no electricity, which I understand, please use your smartphone to Google. As in Nigeria, how much debt do you hold to international funds? you see that you are owing millions. Even your unborn child, they are owing a million, because that is what our politicians have done. And the best they could do with that money was to fund their lavish lifestyles, their kids, send them overseas, buy properties, land, and a whole lot of things, which is very, very bad and very, very disturbing at the same time. Because honestly, when I'm hearing, see, forget about tribalism, forget about which part of the country you're coming from, just serve the people. If democracy actually stands, or the way we define democracy, if that is how it's been applied, I don't think we'll be here today. Because it was supposed to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But no, this one is government of the politician, for the politician, and nothing for the masses, nothing for the people. That is just it. At the end of the day, there is nothing that you can tell me that these politicians are actually getting right. And another thing, age. I know, because of Yaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State, they'll say that when they gave youth, I remember there was something, I think it was a news, that was yesterday, and they were asking one of those ministers that, why do you want to buy such cars? Before you were employed or employed as ministers, you have your own personal cars, and you were on. He say, with this kind of Nigeria road, which kind of car do you expect us to ride? And this person was like, oh, why don't you people use smaller cars, or probably get innocent motors and all that? It will save us some money. Tomorrow you say there is no money in the system, there is no money in the country, but at the end of the day, you end up buying cars that are worth millions of dollars, and then tomorrow you say that the country does not have funds, the country does not have money. What are you people even talking about? Then you say yes. Every time you people say youth, 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 do you know that the youth that gave opportunity to, what did he do at the end of the day? They were referring to Yaya Bello. So I would say that the politicians are not the ones that are corrupt. It's we human being, because you're a human being before you get into office to carry that title, Nigerian politicians. And then at the end of the day, you choose to do what is in your mind. You choose to corrupt the entire this thing office they have given to you. You choose to misuse power. You could see that people, they give them minister of this for this, advocate for that, advocate for this. At the end of the day, they went there to just steal money, because that is what they have been brought up to do. That is what their mindset it is. Because there's no leader that comes that has plans. There's no leader that comes that say, okay, I'm going to put this in place. We are going to do like this to achieve this. We're going to use what we have to get what we want. See, Nigeria is one of the most blessed nation in the world. If it's not the blessed nation in the world, then I doubt, I don't know. Because talk, things that other country face, we don't face them. But this country still thrive more than we do. We do. Things like mineral resources that we have, other countries doesn't even have it. All they do is exchange transactions and all that, export and all those things. But they still thrive more than us. But we go to borrow money from them. I wish they can listen to you, or God will just manufacture somebody like you and bring it from heaven. Then tell us that this is our president. Do or die affair. I feel like God can actually like intervene in this Nigerian case when it comes to presidency. Plans should be laid out. See, I'm always saying this thing. No politician is going to eat my hard earned labor and all that and go scot free. Your stomach is going to swell up and burst, because these things are just so bad. It gets to my nerve, honestly. When I see some injustice and all that, tomorrow you say there are touts on the street, there are kidnappers, there are this, there are that, there are that. What example are you people showing? And see, this don't even stop. Somebody that is above 60 should not go and contest for any office. If money is your problem, go and trade. Trade, do business, do trade by barter, anything that will multiply your money. Go into real estate and all that. And leave political office alone for people that have vision, people that have passion to work. People that have this thing to help human beings, people that see human being as something. You don't even care. Sometimes when they share billions, trillions among their self, millions of dollars, do they even have a conscience that speaks to them that, Omo, this is what they do? It will come bite us one day at the ass. This is why their kids are just behaving. When you go out of the country, you see how their children live, you'll be like, look, Nemesis is actually catching up with them. See, nothing goes for nothing. I understand though, see, that this is what is actually happening in Nigeria, but a lot of things are just so disgusting and so irritating at the same time. Because these people are not doing anything to ensure that life is easy. You're willing to work hard, but at the end of the day, you see nothing, you get nothing. It's peanuts. And they treat you like trash when you work for these people, when you're under them, when you're a domestic staff, you're a driver, you're like all those things. Come on. I just wish God would just manufacture somebody that can fit into this description that this man is just talking about. It would have gladdened my heart more than anything. It would have been the best news of century. But how are we going to do? Let's renew our mindset and say that going into politics is not about money, money, money. It's not about you going there to look. Because I used to have that mindset. But when you see things, you read things, you watch things, like it expands your knowledge and you begin to understand something. That money, it's not everything at the end of the day. So guys, that is just the video I want to share with you guys. And please, before I go, if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe, comment, like, share with family and friends so that you don't miss out on any of our content. And don't forget to turn on the post notification to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you very much for watching this video. God bless you. I'll see you.